Hey everyone, welcome to day 9 of 10 for 10. Today our theme is challenging negative thoughts. To help us talk about that, I've asked Terra Monroe, youth and college student from St. Luke's, and she's going to share parts of her story and how this journey has helped her learn to challenge negative thinking and be a better advocate for her mental wellness and mental health. So Terra, thanks for being with us. Thanks for this conversation.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I'm really excited to talk.
Yeah, so we've chatted a few times of various parts of your journey through things with mental wellness and such.
Yeah.
And one of the things that we have talked about is challenging negative thinking. And you have had, in my experience, probably an earlier start to this in some ways. So growing up, how have you learned to challenge negative thinking, or what have some experiences been for you?
So I started learning what negative thinking was about, I want to say in middle school. Mm-hmm. And I didn't really want to talk to anybody about it, so I kind of kept to myself and just did my own research, and I just kind of was an advocate for myself. I didn't really tell many people that I was having negative thoughts, even though now looking back on it, if I would have told somebody, it would have been much easier and much less stressful for me to challenge those things. But the first thing that I had to do was I really had to recognize the distortions of my thoughts. So there's multiple ways. There's 4 categories of them pretty much, and it's black and white thinking. So that's kind of seeing things as completely good or completely bad and nothing in between. And then there's personalizing, which is when you talk and you think that everybody's feelings are because of something that you did or said or just blaming yourself. And then there's filter thinking, which is you're only choosing to see the negative side. So this is when you're just having really negative thoughts and you can't see anything good coming out of what's happening. And then catastrophizing, which is assuming the worst possible outcome is going to happen. So when you think of those, you really have to just kind of rationalize what you're thinking. Is this really going to happen? Do I have the power to not let that happen? Is there something that I can do to kind of rearrange how I'm thinking and go towards a better way versus the negative thinking?
So one of the things with challenge negative thinking is that I think this is the one that we can talk a lot about, where it sounds like we have a lot of work to do, because maybe we do, but what are ways that others can be involved in helping you challenge negative thinking? How does that work?
So I kind of think of it in the same way as if I were to help somebody, I would want them to help me in the same way. So if somebody that I know was having difficult thoughts, my first thing to do would be to rebuttal that right away. No, that's not true. And then you really need to advocate that for yourself too, and then the people around you will naturally start advocating back for you once they see that you don't want to feel that way. They just, with family and friends, the people you really trust, you can talk to them and just say, I'm having a really difficult time with this. I need you to help me keep my mind off of it. Is there any way that you could just kind of help me redirect my thinking? Because right now it's just not comfortable and I need to figure it out.
Yeah.
And asking for help is just one of the best things you can do.
And I think for me that's a pivotal part even of this conversation, because we started with you saying you felt like you had to do it all alone. I'm going to push you a little bit personally here.
No, go ahead.
What was that change for you? How did, in your journey of realizing I can't do this alone, and realizing when you invited others into it, how important that was?
I realized in about, I want to say my sophomore year of high school, that when I had seen anxiety or depression within myself and I was pushing that onto other people around me, I would just eventually push them away so they didn't have to deal with it. And then eventually I was like, well, I can't keep pushing people away. I want to have friends. I want to have family that wants to hang out with me. I want to be able to be around people for more than a couple months. So I really started thinking, well, I'm not the only one that has this. I'm not the only one that thinks this way. I started looking at some different accounts on Instagram and Facebook, and just how people were also talking that they were feeling the same way I was, and I was like, wow, I'm really not alone in this. Mm-hmm. And just trying to remember that you are not the only one. Everybody, whether they have anxiety, depression, PTSD or not, everybody has negative thoughts at some point in their life. Mm-hmm. So it's just working to figure out what you need at the time, what you need from other people, and what you need from yourself. And just making sure that you're taking care of yourself mm-hmm. in the bigger picture, I guess.
Yeah. I think that's, for me, there's so much to take away from the conversation.
Yeah.
But I think the idea, the just constant reminder that I think we all need is you're not alone. And how that thought of feeling alone can be one of the biggest negative thoughts that we may all feel at times, right?
And it's also okay not to be okay some days.
Yeah.
If you don't feel okay and somebody's like, why are you sad? You're always happy. You have the right to feel not okay some days. Mm-hmm. Nothing's wrong with you. If you're usually a bubbly, happy person, you can feel sad and not want to talk to people some days. That's your personal thing. And if somebody tries to tell you, oh, cheer up, just be like, I need a day. Just give me a day, please. Mm-hmm. And take that day for yourself just to really think, not too hard, but just to think about how you're thinking and to really critically think and just rationalize your thoughts. And if you feel overwhelmed, the best thing to do is go to your parents or a guardian or one of your best friends or Jay, who I tend to talk to sometimes when I'm like, Jay, I'm not feeling God. What's going on? Just really reach out to somebody and talk, because that's the best thing you can do. Because if you are only seeing something from your perspective, it's hard to see the other things when you're having negative thoughts.
Yeah, and I think that's something we talk about a lot too. Like when you say give yourself a day, of like the reality that not every day is gonna be an A+ day. Exactly. Not every day is gonna go out and and just nail it. But like being honest in those moments that this is the way it is, mm-hmm. and then knowing that you have someone to come to with that, I think is huge. Exactly. Is there anything else you would want us to know about challenge negative thinking and from your experience?
From my experience, the other thing is just release that judgment from your shoulders. Not everything is your fault. Not everybody can put that blame on you. If someone's angry and they say it's your fault, okay, that's how they feel. They have the right to feel that way, but you can feel a different way. You don't need to take their feelings and make them yours. Those are their feelings. Mm-hmm. So make sure that you just kind of have your little bubble of your feelings and don't let anybody else's emotions come in there. That's your own space. And then just practice gratitude. Give yourself as much gratitude as you can. You are here. You did it all the way up until here. There's no question that you can't do tomorrow.
That's awesome. So for today's question that can be answered on the website or Instagram or Facebook is, what is one way you can challenge a negative thought today? So however you want to think that through. You think that through with a friend or at home or just throwing it on one of the comment sections. What is one way that you can challenge just one negative thought today? Because we know, as we just learned from Terra, that tomorrow's coming. There is tomorrow. If we can keep that thought, we can just think of one thing that we can challenge today. Terra, thanks for the conversation. Thanks for sharing, just your personal experience.
Thank you for having me. It's stuff that people really need to hear, because, especially from somebody my age, a self-advocate for younger kids, because I know that when I was younger I had anxiety and depression, but I didn't want to tell anyone about it. So if I would have seen somebody my age, it might have been easier. Mm-hmm.
Well, thank you. Thanks for being willing to do that and keep this conversation going.
Thank you.